Okay, so George, it is such a pleasure to have you finally on the English Coach podcast. I've been looking forward to this episode and I hope you're feeling good and prepared and energetic for
I
this little
am
episode.
ready. I just had lunch, so I am well nourished. I'm ready for this.
Fantastic. Have you had some sun?
I had sun as well. I was outside working in the garden a little bit earlier, so it's a beautiful day here in the south of Germany. We're enjoying
Yeah,
it.
Baden-Württemberg, no?
Mm-hmm.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. Well, as you know, I'm sitting here in Berlin and I am just peering a little bit through the window and the sun looks fantastic. Haven't had a chance to go out all day, but it looks good. Looks good.
Yeah. No,
We're
for sure.
we're lucky. We're
We're
lucky.
happy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am glad to hear that again. Thanks for coming. I appreciate this, this, as I said before, or as we have discussed before, this little cross-promotional thing, us as podcasters, creators, trainers, supporting each other. We have to do that. And
Absolutely.
I appreciate your being here. All right. Well, we're going to get straight into it because, I want the listeners, my listeners and your listeners to have an idea of what the show is about, why it exists. And, we prepared a few questions and basically it is about the idea of enriching natural language. Natural language is a goal that a lot of my learners want to achieve and attain, or becoming fluent in the language. And I'm sure you can relate to that as well. No? They want to feel comfortable with speaking, not worrying too much about making excuses, and come across in the confident way, similar to what they do in their own language. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
From your side? Yes, so basically that's what it's about. We're going to be talking also about your experience as an educator, your experience with your participants, the kind of feedback you get, and also your experience as an independent self-employed language trainer in a new culture, so to speak. And that is just the first part. Yeah, so I'm just going to jump straight into the first question, and I am going to say, George, the theme for today is handmade, enriching the natural language. What does that mean to you?
So that was a very interesting way of phrasing it. I don't think I've seen it phrased in this way before. So that, first of all, I really like what you've done there with natural language, because a lot of times we talk about fluency, right? Oh, fluent in 3 months. And a lot of times students, they associate this word fluent with perfection. And that can create, in my opinion, a barrier towards learning. Because then they think, oh, if I'm not fluent in 3 months, then there must be something wrong with me. And the way you phrased it here with natural language, enriching natural language, I feel like that is probably more in line with the reality of the language process. So I really like it. And how I interpret it, and I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer, but I think it's about taking your current situation, your current abilities, and not about leading the learner towards perfection, where you don't make any mistakes, where you don't make any grammar mistakes, but towards helping you enrich your accent where it is today. So, for example, I work with German people and I also work with a French company. And a lot of times they say, oh, George, how can I eliminate my accent? And I say, why is that the end goal? Why is the end goal to eliminate your German accent or your French accent? The goal should be communicating and being understood and being able to understand the other person. So I feel like, and this, I know that we'll probably get into it a little bit further, but a lot of time accent gets a bad rap. People associate it with ignorance or with stupidity, when in reality, for me, accent should be associated with bravery. It shows the other person that you're willing to go outside of your comfort zone and interact with another person in their language that is not your own. So I feel like I would like to get create maybe a new way of thinking about accent. And the way you phrase it here with enriching natural language, I think that can take us in a positive direction.
Yes, thank you so much for that. I mean, you've inspired me. You've actually given me a small goosebumps moment right there, because we're definitely on the same wavelength, and it's about self-acceptance. You know, I mean, you touched on the idea of perfection there. I agree with you. I've always been celebrating the idea of perfect imperfection, the idea of accent being the mark of a kind of authenticity that is sometimes quite charming. Yes, if I, for example, hire, let's say, a German engineer, you know, let's say I'm working in America, I'm working in Jamaica, and this German engineer comes to me and he's speaking to me with an Australian accent or a British accent, then I start to wonder, is this person real? And you know, this idea of perfection, especially since we're working with adults as well, I don't know how reasonable it is to expect any adult learner of a foreign language to get to perfection in the first place, right? So it's this also giving yourself permission to feel good and feel confident and feel sovereign with the way you speak. So we're definitely on the same wavelength.